Well, hello and welcome to today's Material Musings. I'm so glad you could join me. I'm always amazed at how quickly the year passes, and so we have to think about all the things that we want to try, all the things that we want to do, that we have to do, we need to do, and I was going to say the impact we want to make on this world, and it's just really the encouragement that we want to be able to encourage others through the things that we do, through the things that we're able to create, develop, invent even. Why not? Why can't our generation, so those who were born in the same kind of year, who are my peers, why can't we also leave that mark on history of all the things that we've created and developed and the impact that we've made in the world? So that's something to think about. Think about the things that you do. Anyway, so for Material Musings, this month, so the month of September I'm a teacher on a year-long course called Fodder School 4. So when you can look back whenever you come to this video, and I've been working with fabric, and so sharing how because obviously you may have your own method and technique of working on fabric, and for Material Musings, that's what it's all about. It's about working on fabric in different ways, the projects that I'm trying to finish, the things that I'm excited by, playing past, the things that I'm interested in, and the things that I want to grow in the garden, or have been growing in the garden, experimenting in the garden. And so, as I say, for this month, we've been working with fabric, and it's really great to be able to see all of the ways in which the students interpret your lesson. They, go out of their comfort zone. They may do something very similar to you in terms of, say, the paint or whatever, but everybody comes to it and approaches it differently. And anyway, so it's so nice to do that. And what that made me feel like doing was looking at the fabrics that I'd eco-dyed. One of the teachers, Susanna Randers, has done a bonus lesson, and she looked at fabric that over the course of the year of Fodder School 4, there have been a variety of different lessons. So in the first month we did a class with Jack Ravi, and we eco-dyed fabrics in different, like turmeric and things like that. So if you've managed to, as teachers, it's difficult to try and stay on top of all of the other teachers' lessons and do it, they're full on each month, and also do your own work. So I did Jack Ravi's, and I've done a few others in terms of working with fabric. And then obviously there's mine in which you do some additional work on fabric, and you then stitch on it, you stamp on it with foam stamps. You make your own foam stamps. And so Susanna Randers did this, looked at art foamies and the ones that she has developed and stamped on the fabric. And it was just like, I was thinking to myself, because I'd said, I've got some avocado seeds, I need to kind of do something with them, because I've already had to chuck away 2 because they went off. And so I've got 4 sitting there. I've been eating quite a few avocados, and actually I feel so much better for it, adding that back into my diet. Anyway, so I was thinking, but you've got a whole heap of dyed fabric that you've clay dyed, you've avocado dyed, you've blue pea flower dyed, a whole range of things that you're sitting on. Why not play about with those? Look at them, play about with them and your art foamies, because I've got art foamies now. and just see how your particular art foamies look on fabric. And then the other thing that I was reminded of, Wendy, who is the host for Fodder School, the founder, she did a bonus video and she mentioned a sidekick journal, and I was just like, oh my goodness, I must try that. And then I thought to myself, actually, you've been doing that. You've got many journals that, you know, when you're, essentially it's like journals that, I mean, this is a particular journal that sits close by. It's a journal that I've worked in for some of the lessons that I've taught on, but I've got a range of them. I don't discriminate any journal. I can do a lesson and share that in here, or I can just play, you know, when I'm doing my own journaling. And so anyway, oh, I can show you this. So this is already gone. So in May, I did a lesson for Get Messy Art, and I was trying to encourage people, basically, you know, you play around with papers and then you bring them together and you create something, and it's inspired by the garden and growing. And so I was just like, but you've got journals that sit there that you know, stamp in, you always take off excess paint that you've got on your palette. You always do that. So now there's a name, now you've heard that there's a name for it, why not just do it, but do it more intentionally? So, you know, just, yeah, make sure that there's some here. You can see some here. So I can't actually put them on my desk, but I can put them here. And what we can do, maybe at the end of the week, I will do a flip through of just a few journals. Yeah, I'll do that for Friday. But anyway, so what I wanted to do for this Material Musings is go through again, and that's the other important thing, to regularly go through your fabrics so that it's very dry at the moment, but you need to, dependent on the kind of temperatures you have in your space, in your studio space, you need to make sure that you regulate it. But by checking the fabrics, because I know that for some of the natural fibers, the white cottons and things like that, they can sometimes pick up, you know, it's like mildew from the humidity in the space. And every now and again I have to take them all out and wash them. So, or use them, like don't sit on them, get on with using them. And that was the other thing that Wendy mentioned, having a fabric sidekick journal. And I was just like, oh, I do have a couple of fabric journals, but I normally put the excess on the paper-based journals. Anyway, so check your fabrics on a regular basis. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to check the fabrics that I have eco-dyed, but I also want to look at, I saw a video by another creative and she was talking about solar dyeing. So I want to look at some flowers that I have in the garden that are out now that I'm going to try that with, and then I will gather them up. I've got some jars. I'll gather them up, and hopefully by next week you'll be able to see how I've got on with this solar dyeing, because if it's something that I can do really well, that's how I'm going to be dyeing. Like, because normally I've got a big pot, and that's why I haven't done anything with the avocados, because it's just like I'm gonna have to get that big pot, and then you're boiling the avocado pits, and then it just felt like a whole process. But it was just like, if I can chuck everything in a jar. The only thing I don't have is the mordant. So I was looking at some alternatives, but it doesn't seem as if there is. Maybe some rusty metal, but I don't like the idea of having rusty metal around. I'm just trying to find a quicker and easy way to Or I might just have to go and get some alum because that's the mordant as well. Anyway, so I'm going to look at, we've got the flamboyant flower, we've got the Pride of Barbados, that's yellow, we've got the red, we've got some reddish, pinkish flowers from the bougainvillea. So those are the flowers. I've got the pits, the avocado pits, and I've got the blue pea flower. I'll have to check whether we can check anyway. So I'm going to show you what they look like if you haven't had a, but and I'll show you what I've got so that I can, that I'm going to work on. So I'm so excited for this, even though I've got loads of other things to do, but that's what we're going to do now. Anyway, let's get out into the garden. Then when we come back in, we'll look at all the fabrics and delight over them. And I'll get my art foamies and select one of the fabrics to stamp on. And we'll see how we get on from there. Okay, let's go. Okay, so here we are out in the garden. So we're going to... Cole's decided to go in. Anyway, so I'm going to show you the 3. I've actually seen another one, but I'm not sure whether I'm going to be able to get those flowers. But yeah, so I'll show you the ones that I've talked about so far. The blue pea. If I can't get the blue pea, I'll see if I can get the other one. So let's look at what I'm talking about. So high up in those branches is the flower that belongs to the apple blossom. There's a pink thing that you can see there. Let me see if there's any that's fallen. So you're going to see a few, not enough maybe to put in a jar. Yeah, they're spatterings. So let's see what else we can find. If you look over there in the distance, you can see the flamboyant flowers, so we'll check those out as well. In terms of leaves, so this it's an almond young tree, so this one is looking pretty sad at the moment. As I said, it's really dry, so everything is just like trying to hold on. And I have been telling them, all the plants, that with the big trees, they're gonna dig deep and get the water, and so you have to try and sort yourselves out, which some of them are doing fine, but others need some help. So this is a more healthier looking almond tree, and I have to clip these off anyway, so I don't want it to get big. It can grow like 40-50 feet, so that's not what I want for this space, so I'm going to clip it. We have had some almonds actually. I haven't yet taken it off, but anyway, so this is growing well, so I can clip some of the leaves, boil them, and you get a kind of like a tan colour. If it's not that different from the really strong tea that I have, I'll see how varied it is. But you want a variety of different colours, and yeah, so this one, the leaves can be clipped, and then I could make use of them. Here are the Pride of Barbados flowers. I'm going to trim these like I did here, and so I should have a jar full of flowers. They would be turning into seeds, and the what are they called? Parakeets. They love munching on these seeds, but I've got another plant that they can have the seeds, and then they have all of the moringa pods up there. They can have access to that, so I should be able to use those flowers. This is looking very spindly, but there's some flowers on here, and this again, the parakeets can have this. This all has to be trimmed back, but that's not what we're doing in Material Mondays. Material Musings, are we? Come on, let's go and look at the flamboyant tree. So look how magnificent they look. Oh, do you want to see some frangipani hornworm? We won't be using those. They're going to turn into big giant moths. And yeah, they're big. But yeah, look, all of these flowers. So they turn into the pods, and you can see the pods, which we really do not need anymore. Each one of those has got about 20 seeds, and it gives you new plants. Let's see, and maybe I pulled a few. Look, there's a few there that you can see, but all of the flowers that have dropped, I need to trim this tree anyway, so I should be able to have, see, they've just dropped, so I might as well use them. So I should be able to have a jar full. Look, it's so pretty as well. It's amazing looking at the variations, and look at the colours in that. The white, the yellow, the red, the pink. So it's going to be really interesting to see what colours I can get, but also see if I can dry them. I may be able to dry them if I can't use them all at the same time. You know, dry them so that I can use them in later projects. So the last two we're going to look at is the bougainvillea. I've got a pink variety, and we'll see if we've got any blue pea flowers. Garden needs a trim. The grass is getting, but so these are the flowers. The white ones are the flowers, and this is actually the leaves, but you can get a really lovely pink from these leaves. So I'm going to try and do that as well, and just take off the flowers. This the bougainvillea comes in a variety of colours. I've been trying to get some other colours, but so far this is the one that is happy growing here, and yeah, I should be able to get some of the flowers from there. Right, this is the blue pea flower. It started growing on my neighbour's fence. He's not really interested in, you know, these kind of things. So I've just taken the seeds and, yeah, just scattered them. This is on a water storage container, and you can see the roots there. But we've got some flowers on there, and I do have some dried ones, so I'll be able to put them. I'll pick the fresh ones first because I've only got a small jar of the dried ones. But yeah, that's the flowers we're going to use so far. So we've got a nice selection of flowers to use. So let's look at the fabric, and I'll show you one of the things that I want to do with some of the fabric. I'm trying not to be so precious about them, but yeah, so we'll look through them and I'll show you the ones that I really am precious about. And saving it for best, but when it's best, why not use it? Okay, so anyway, let's have a look now. Right, here are some of my fabrics that I've dyed, and there's a range of different dyeing processes going on, and I'll show you. I think probably what we'll do is first look at the conventional dyes, and then I'll show you the ones that I've used. I've used clay, I've used a blue pea flower, I've combined, you know, like tea bags and conventional dye, or wax resist, clay and conventional dyes, and so I'll go through some of those as well. And then there are the ones that it's just like, I've done it and it's just like, oh my gosh, I just love the way this looks, I can't use it. I don't want to put anything, I just want to look at it, and maybe I'll just frame it. Maybe that's what needs to happen. But anyway, so we'll go through and just look. So this is just silk dye, yeah, but I've used wax, so it's a wax resist silk dye rather than the stuff that you would put on the silk. And I think I made this. Did I make this for my son? So I've got his name is on it, but I've anyway, so I wanted to experiment, but yeah, let's look at the more conventional ones. So this was supposed to be a wax resist, and I had there, you can see some of the imagery, but when I put it in the dye, it didn't come out as I had hoped it would. So what needed to happen was I needed to not try and rush the process, which is what I did basically. So you can see some of the wax coming through there, and maybe what I'll do, because it's actually coming through clearer on the camera than it is when I look at it in real life, so maybe what I'll do is give it an iron and see if I can brighten it up or wash it, see if I can wash it. But I don't typically, because I've not been using a mordant with especially the eco dyes, I haven't been washing them, and this one was part of a larger piece, and I had done a painting on it, and yeah, I didn't particularly feel for it, so I cut it up and was going to use it in strips, but I don't feel to use this as it is, so I think I'll probably be doing something else with it. If the fabric dye that's on here, it should, because it's combined with, it had salt in it, so it should not run, but we'll have a look and see. So there's a project. But yeah, I was just thinking, you know, I'd said, oh yes, you know, I'm going to do all of these dyes. There's no way I'm going to be able to do it all by next week. I'm just alerting you. In my head I can, but physically there's no way I'm going to set about doing that particular task. As much as I love having you here and love showing you all of the projects, we have to be realistic with our time. So this is turmeric and tea, and it's just nice to see just some of the patterns that you can get. I wasn't really looking for anything particular, but sometimes something can, you know, really surprise you, and you never know, let's come in, you never know how it's going to look on a project when you start to use it. Yeah, so even just this bit, like I've been working on some canvases and working with a lot of recycled materials, but I haven't yet used, oh, I made a kawandi. I did make a kawandi out of all my dyed fabric, so I will link that video and you can see that. But yeah, just, you know, some of the patterns that, just because I folded it in a particular way, you've got a nice little pattern there. But the other thing is, you know, regularly just checking up on your fabrics, because you never know what's happening if they're in a bag, in a container. So these were all in this container, and as I say, in the studio it gets very humid, so the natural fibres I have to be more careful with. So this is just it's just been tea dyed, so I've got a nice big space, and it was a curtain. So if you're looking for thinking about fabrics, you know, go to your thrift store, look at some of the cotton curtains, the sheets, you know, obviously when you get them home, wash them, give them a good wash, and then they're ready for you to be able to work on. So I might even do a couple of stamps on this fabric. I'm not precious about this. See how easy it was for me to decide that. Okay, some more conventional dyes. So I wanted to get the effect of, I mean, I'm not saying that this is the effect, but of mud cloths. And but I started out, you know, doing kind of batik type, working with wax resist, and I really do enjoy doing that. And so I created a few pieces that I really do love if you knew when I made this and how long it's been just sitting there, and every now and again I can't bring it out and just look at it. But again, now it's time to, you know, look at what I'm creating now and seeing how I can bring this into the fold. So in that way, you're always using all of your supplies, you know, you're always bringing them together. I mean, if you are a mixed media artist, you'll understand. And, you know, if you're an artist that does use more than one, say, supply or in your work, then yeah, obviously as well. But it's like I used to want to be a jewellery designer, and I brought all the supplies for making jewellery, and I didn't realise that I was then going to be able to use it in mixed media art projects. I never even heard of mixed media art at the time. It was just like, no, I want to design my own pieces. So this is a face, and I was thinking or debating, and this is using conventional dye. I was debating whether to, I wanted to get that indigo look, indigo cloth look. I'm desperate to get some indigo in the garden. I would love to grow it, but I've not yet come across any seeds or plants that I could buy. So anyway, so, and I was thinking recently of just putting this on a large frame, and I'm working on a new technique of working with canvases already framed, or making my own. You know, you can make your own. So and a fellow artist was encouraging me to you know, make my own frames. He works on large canvases, and then he was just like, oh, you know, don't you make your own frames? And I was just like, no, I really want to. It was just like, yeah, it's not that difficult once you learn how to do it. You know, the process, you'll be surprised. And if you're shipping your work and it's like rollable, like my mixed media art pieces are less able to do that. But for the ones where I've used fabric, you're gonna take them off, roll them up and ship them. Okay, so I thought these were the blue pea, but they're just, it was like a china blue conventional dye. But again, I can use these, stamp on them. I've got other stamps, and I'll bring out some of my other stamps as well. But all of these, this I think I tried to do like tie and dye. It's not a very clear image. Okay, so avocado pits. I worked with avocado pits and stencils, avocado pits and wax resist, and I've used some of these, and I had some, I've got some fabric kits on my course platform. It comes with a couple of videos sharing some ways to work with fabric, and there will be additional videos added over time. But yeah, using stencils. And so in some of the kits, well, in all of the kits, you get a selection of hand dyed fabric, and these are so gorgeous. So this is, as I say, done with the avocado, and I've taken a stencil and then pressed the avocado pit through it, and you get these nice creations. These, I guess, oh, this one was one of my favorites. And then we've got these as well. I think these were the first one I did. So it's just like I'm experimenting. I was just painting the avocado pit on there, and then it started to bleed through the fabric, and then I sun dried it, and yeah, got these here. some interesting markings. And this is one that I think I started working on, creating. I was going to create a large, like a wall hanging, and it's supposed to be a vase with flowers. They're the flowers, that's the vase. But I hadn't decided where I wanted to take it. So I could decide to finish it, or I could cut it up and it could become a new piece in itself. Okay, and they're just some more avocado dyed. Okay, so my really favourite pieces are these. And it's the clay dyed pieces. So as I say, I wanted to create like a mud cloth type, and I do a lot of the wax resist on fabric. And this is one of my favorites. I did it with the terracotta air drying clay, and it's like terracotta colour. So I did the wax resist, and then I covered this, and I just got this, the colour, and it's just like, could I ever recreate it? And so it was just on this small piece, and it was just like, I can't use it. I don't want to use it, but I have to use it, and I will use it. And I might do one of the pieces, I might use it and show you one of my art foamies on there. Here's another one with clay, and I love this one as well. I just love how it turned out. It was just like, I can't even remember what I did. I know that, no, this is what I did. Okay, so the white bits are the wax resist. Then I added the clay and let it dry, and then I dipped it in, I think it was the same blue, but it turned out like this. So I was just like, you just have to experiment and play, and then write down your results. Again, this is clay and conventional dye, and again, I loved it. You can see, some of the clay that stained it. And I think what had happened is that after I'd washed the clay off, you still had the wax on there, but a lot of the clay washed off, so I then dipped it. I was doing so many things on that day. So many. It's just like, oh, let me dip it in this. I think this is my favourite. They're all my favourites, but this one turned out just so lovely that I haven't done anything with this. This one, we've got, this one's faded slightly, and ooh, I did some faces. Ooh, look at that. Oh, I want to do, I'm going to stitch on this. Maybe not all over the figure, but around the figure. Maybe add some jewellery. I just love this. So these have actually been my favourite. I do have some more. I was going to experiment with some clay. So I've got clay, or I've got clay in the garden actually, because the soil is heavy clay soil. There's an area in the front of the garden that has some white clay that I found, and then the rest of the garden is the kind of red clay, like this. And then I bought some clay because I wanted to do some work with a kiln or a fire pit, but we haven't yet got that far. So again, a little bit of clay and conventional dye. So maybe I dip my feet in the ones that I'm not really that precious about it. I just haven't thought about using it. So we could stamp on there and see how we get. This one, I want to keep it as is and do something with it. as to this one. I just love it. But you can, you know, you can keep it, and then what happens to it when you're gone? So you might as well make the most of it. Okay, so these are the ones that I can potentially work with. And I've just got some more that I've tea dyed, and this is just like a sheet. I tried to do some wax resist, and it was just, it's like that kind of flannel kind of material. It didn't kind of come out very well. And this one, I think yeah, same kind of thing, but it's a man-made fibre. So, but it still managed to take some of the, it was like a really strong tea. So these particular ones are nice if you want to, you know, you can cut them into strips. That's what I was doing with some of them, and including them in some of the packs that I create. And they make, you know, like nice ribbons and things like that, additions to, you know, the ends of project. And oh yeah, so many things that can be done. So let me think about which one I'm going to work on. Which one did I say? I said the purple one, didn't I? I might do that one. But I want to try one of the ones that I'm precious about and see what we get. Oh, I'm going to rinse that one out and see what happens. Maybe this pink one. It's the fabric is fairly stiff. So it's going to be interesting getting the needle through there. I usually have a couple of needles that I can just test it out, see. Yeah, not too bad. So yeah, I can cut a couple of strips off there. Okay, let me get my foam stamps. Right, here are a couple of my foam stamps. They're available at Art Foamies. I'll leave the link if you want to check it out. But I also have digital art stamps as well, and I've got quite a few varieties that you can choose from, and they're available immediately. You can, you know, on my Etsy store, you can download them and start to use them. Okay, so let's just play really with a couple of them. I'm not going to stitch it now. I'm just going to release some of the fabric and see how we get on. I don't really even like this, so stitching it might make it a bit better. So let me take this one. This particular one is called Vessel. Let's see. There we go. And it actually looks better. Like, you know, it doesn't look, so I was thinking, I don't mind it now. Like now it's got something, now it's got something on it. I actually quite like it. So I'm going to do another impression, and then what I'm going to do is use one of the fabrics just as like, did I talk about a sidekick journal? So we'll do two there. So I'll just, yeah, use some of the fabrics that maybe, again, I'm not too enamored with, and they can just, like this one, any excess, if there's excess, which there will be, I can put that. There. I'll do two. And so if you do happen to buy one of my fabric kits, you may be getting one of these printed images on a piece of fabric. And then the other thing that I would do, because I don't want to print up the same design, is I will get, you know, like a journal and then just stamp out. You never know when they come in handy. And it's amazing how much ink you get. Let's put some on here that's still on the surface. I really don't like wasting it. Let's just take okay, there. So that's really light. Okay, so let's take the other stamp, and I will take, ooh, should we? Actually, tell you what, I'm going to take one of these faded, this one. No, not that one. This one. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll do this one. Okay. But I'm just going to stamp this one in. Just do it all over this one. And I'm not going to re-stamp it. Okay, so let us. I'm going to stamp it pretty close to the top so that you've got room to do a dress or whatever. See how many we can get in there. Okay. You know what, I might be able to get some of the head and shoulders there. Okay. Alright. Okay, that didn't hurt. It didn't hurt at all. So there we have so far. So I did say I have some other stamps. I have some bird foam stamps. I haven't made them into like art foam stamps. I just created the one design and then I use them as digital art stamps. Yeah. So we've got the image of the bird and then I've decorated it. So it's got a really lovely design. So let me, maybe even on this, maybe even on here. It's just like, I can just put it here, yeah? Okay, so let's do this one. I really do need to get a large stamp pad. I haven't yet seen any, so I'm not sure how much of this is going to be, but we'll just do what we can. Okay, I'm just going to put it here. I haven't used many of my own foam stamps that I've created. Oh my gosh, look at that. Look at that. I love it. As I say, it was, I hadn't, do you know what, even though I've used stamps on fabric, but I didn't use it on fabric that I had, you know, I hadn't used it intentionally, because it's just like, how is it that I've How is it that I haven't used these stamps on my fabric? Now I'm gonna re-stamp this and put it on the other one. How is it? So I will be making these available on my Etsy store, and what you'll be able to do is download them. So you download them, you can print them off, and then you can use them in your art journal. If you want to look at ways in which you can transfer images, you can stamp it out and then use a like carbon underneath, or you can draw it out. There's a variety of ways. If you've got a light box, you can use that as well. But the digital downloads, are fairly inexpensive, and they enable you to, just print many times on the surface. And I hope I haven't moved that. Oh yeah, I moved it slightly, but still. Yeah. See, that's why you have to make sure you're not surrounded by a whole load of things. Let me show you some of the patterned stamps that I made. Okay, here, these are just a few, and these are some of my favorites. So again, I'll be making these available on my Etsy store. You can see, let me come out a bit. And obviously you can have repeating patterns. So yeah, let's do up here. Let's do a couple of so you can repeat the pattern. Oh my, I just love them. Okay. So you won't find them on. You'll find my digital figures on Etsy. I haven't yet put these designs up there yet, but they're coming. Doesn't that look glorious? I never knew how glorious it could look. Okay. And especially on the tea-dyed, kind of a vintage-looking style fabric. It's quite amazing. And then if you think, if you're working on a project and then you add like an element like this, you can have something that looks so gorgeous. And even like the faint images, like I'm stamping out here, it's just like there's still ink on there. So you might as well just use it up. And then I'll take the journal and just stamp it on the page, because it could be like, just part of the background. Or see, there's quite a lot of these stamp pads. It's supposed to be water-based, so I would say if you want to fix it, you would need to, if you're going to wash the fabrics, then you're going to need to heat set Okay. There's that. Okay, so let us wrap up. I could play for a long time. Anyway, so these are these will be digital stamps that I'll be sharing on my Etsy store. And as I say, you know, there's a wide range of fabrics now that I'm thinking, oh yes, I must work on those. I must do something on them. It's so exciting to see my stamps on there. And yeah, it's just absolutely, I'm absolutely, I was going to say flummoxed, but no, I'm just absolutely so, I really want to do some more now, and I really want to dye some more fabrics and see what kind of results I'm going to get, and go through all my stamps and see what images I create. These bird ones, I love them. I've got several different bird designs that, yeah, I'll definitely release them in a series, but you'll be able to work with them, and then I'll show you how I use them. So this month, yeah, I think it's going to be looking at the fabrics, the eco dyeing. So over the next, we've got 3 weeks, 3 more Mondays. So over the next 3 Mondays, I will be working with the fabric eco dyes. We've got some special announcements in the last week of September, so that if you are interested in working on, let me see if I can give you a sneak. No, I won't give you a sneak peek, you just have to wait. So I'll be showing you how I work with fabric and frames. So I've got one here. So how I use these with my fabric and work on them, so you can keep your ears peeled, or join my mailing list, you know, sign up to all of my platforms, and you'll be alerted when the time comes. So I hope that that's been interesting. We're going to be looking at solar dyeing. We're going to be doing some more, I'll probably make some more avocado dyed, and we'll look at some of the other flowers that I have. Okay, so I hope that that's been interesting. Take care for now, you stay blessed and be a blessing.